What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Today, I want to talk about the economics of dating. And of course, I'm not an economist or even a person that is educated so much in financial literacy, but I think a few things we can infer from what's going on in 2022. Now, we all understand we just come out of COVID, the Ukraine and Russia war. We've seen a lot of commodities go up, inflation is going up, and the middle class guy used to have a lot of opportunities in the United States. I mean, that was my goal, to be upper middle class guy, work, die, leave some money for my kids and my wife. That, to me, was the American dream. And it used to be the American dream. To be a middle class black man at that time, you could still get married. You could still have some sort of impact in your church community. You can get a pretty decent looking lady. Yeah, everything was good. And then things changed. Things changed for the middle class black man, especially if you're the brother that might be in the blue collar, plumbers, electricians, truck drivers. I know what you're going to say. Yeah, these guys make a lot of money. Yeah, sure. Barbers do too. But it's just like a lot of people, tend to look down in our community on these particular professions, even though they're very lucrative. And so the person that started getting hit the hardest were the middle class guys. Now, this has to do also with social media and TV shows, really praising the fact that, guys are spending a lot of money on like Birkin bags, and, guys in the hip hop community had a lot of jewelry, big cars, things like that, the rappers and stuff. And so the regular working class or middle class guy found it hard to date, especially if he wasn't, college educated. You might even be a guy that's a banker making $60,000 a year, but you would probably have more of an easier time dating a woman than a truck driver who made $100,000 a year just based on his particular career. Now, I want to talk about this video that I want to play here. I have two, and it comes from brother Austin Holloman, right? And he's a brother who's a barber in Dallas. Check him out on TikTok. And he has this video called "Fellas, They Ain't Checking For You." And he's talking about that only rich men are getting their way in America. Now, I want to play this particular clip and then I'll come back.
So I just spoke with one of my homies right on Instagram, and he just brought something up. You got to be rich to get the chick you want, and then it still comes with problems. This is so true. In the United States, if you're dating, if you're not in the top 1% of men, meaning like $500,000 or more, they're not checking for you.
Now, that's pretty interesting and a pretty interesting take. Now, I want to play brother Yesh Jonas, who I've worked with in the past. And, I want to get his motivational factor for him why he's going over to Brazil, and other guys are doing it also. And then we'll come back and talk about that.
So, American men are going overseas, coming back and comparing foreign women to American women, right?
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
And what are they comparing? They're comparing the natural femininity. They're comparing the cooperativeness, the pleasantries. They're comparing the harmonic styles. They're comparing all these different things, right? Now, if you don't care why they're comparing it, then this video isn't for you. But there's a couple of things that happen when they do this, right? Something that happens. When an American man finally meets a foreign woman who has his back, showing like, I'm talking about crazy interest in him, don't want any money from him, all she wants is his attention, his affection. She's showing that from afar. Even when he goes to the country, it's just like she meets his family, like she wants him to meet her family, and different things like that. Like, it blows men's mind when they finally see this and recognize this familiar structure, family structure, the femininity, the pleasantries, the cooperativeness, the harmonic style. They like, whole. And it creates this thing that I call the comparison guard dog syndrome. This is when men come back from overseas, right? Come back here to live and work, right? And I know what you say, well, why didn't you just go over there? Shut up. They come back to live and work and build up their economics and stuff like that because they can't live over there yet. But they come back and they look at the dating system differently, right? They like, yo, this woman feel entitled to have this drink. And then they go to another environment. Yo, this woman thinks that you're supposed to buy her affection. Then they go to another environment. They're like, yo, my sister's tripping. This dude just did all this for her and she acted like it wasn't good enough. Then they start looking at their sisters, their cousins, their aunts, and they're like, oh, shoot. These women are all jacked up. So then, how I tell them to get around it again?
All right, so we can infer from both of these videos, even though Yesh isn't really talking about economics, he's really talking about this whole idea that I can get better bang for my buck. You know, the normal guy dating in America, let's just say you really can't win. All right. And I will talk about that being, there is some truth to that. I think that if you're the normal guy in America and you're in, you know, $60,000, $70,000, $90,000 a year, number one, you find it very difficult to probably survive if you're in a major city in America. You're also going to find it very difficult to date to a certain degree. It depends on, you know, also what you look like, and, you know, things like that. But and where you live, but it might be difficult if you live in Atlanta and you're making $70,000, $80,000 a year. Or New York City, well, a lot of women, unless they're really, really attracted to you, they may be getting hit on by guys who make $100,000, $200,000 a year. And then some of those ladies can look at you and feel like they're doing you a favor by giving you the time of day. So if they decide to go out with you, you know, you should be lucky they're even going out with you and they don't owe you anything. So you'll go out on a date, you might spend $100, and you might get a Christian hug at the end and stuff like that. And the entitlement might be quite ridiculous for the normal guy. Versus you going over to Colombia, Brazil, maybe some parts of Africa, and now you're $50,000 or $60,000 a year. If you can somehow transfer that to that country, now you're in the driver's seat, right? You don't have as much money as you have in America, but maybe you don't need it. Then you're able to date women who are much more attractive, much more willing to engage you, and you're having a good time. And I think this is what you're seeing. Men are looking to have feminine women where they actually have a chance. Now, I want to talk about this. There are some beautiful feminine women out there who are 9s and 10s. The problem is the average guy can't get to them. It's going to be real. Just like Kevin Samuels said in the Average at Best video to Jessica, most rich men, women can't access them. And I'm going to say this, most extremely beautiful women, the average guy just can't even get to them. They're not even in his reach. All right. Like, we just gonna be real. You might see her at the mall. You might try to talk to her, but for the most part, really, really beautiful women are for rich guys. And even 50 Cent has said something similar. He's like, listen, the type of women that I date and come across, you can't even access them. And that's true. Guys who make $500,000 a year or above, they have more connections. They have more situations. They can pretty much create their own universe and kind of, you'll get things to them. You know, they're hanging out in nice places, Paris, London, Luxembourg, Joburg, Beverly Hills, Miami. They got top of the line chicks. And if you're a normal guy, you're making 70, 80 grand a year, it's hard for you to get around the top of the line chicks. Guys are looking to go someplace where they can also have the top of the line chicks for the money they can get. But guys, am I lying? Let me know. What do you think? How hard is the dating out there for you? Peace out.